Right now on WCCB News, fallout continues after video shows a Shelby police officer punching a woman repeatedly. That officer now fired as the SBI begins an investigation.
Plus, the driver of a charter bus that crashed on its way to Charlotte is now facing charges after 5 people died and more than 40 were hurt.
And residents and business owners in uptown Charlotte just want some peace and quiet, so could the city install noise cameras? The discussion set to begin tomorrow. And developing tonight, a Shelby police officer has been fired after outrage over this video showing that officer repeatedly punching a woman. Thanks for joining us for the news at 10. I'm Marvin Beach.
And I'm Casey Jones. That incident happened around 8 Friday morning. You can see the video here where the officer is taking down the woman that police called suspicious. She appears to struggle with him before he starts punching her. You can actually hear the other officer telling him to stop. Tonight, Shelby's police chief says the officer has been terminated as of 8:30 Saturday morning.
As a lifelong resident of this community, I care deeply about the residents we serve and the reputation of this department. While this incident does not reflect the values of the Shelby Police Department, it does reinforce the importance of holding ourselves to the highest standards of conduct.
That officer's name has not been released at this time. The State Bureau of Investigation announced Saturday it will be conducting an independent investigation into alleged excessive use of force, and that was requested by the Shelby Police Chief and the Cleveland County District Attorney.
Well, the driver of a charter bus that crashed on its way from New York City to Charlotte will face involuntary manslaughter charges. 5 people died, including 2 children, ages 7 and 13, and dozens of others were hurt after that crash on I-95 in Stafford County, Virginia on Friday. Now, state police say the bus driver was speeding and failed to react to vehicles slowing down in front of it approaching a work zone. The bus hit a Chevy Suburban, triggering a chain reaction involving more than half a dozen vehicles. 44 people were taken to the hospital. The NTSB will look into what that bus driver was doing before the deadly crash.
Sleep issues, distraction issues, potential drug and alcohol issues. I'm not saying that there's any of that involved here, but those are the sorts of things we want to look at and see what the activities of the driver were during the days leading up.
Well, the driver also was hurt and is being treated at the hospital. Investigators say that driver will be held without bond once doctors release him from the hospital. All right, weather-wise, you might have noticed it was cooler outside on this final night of May. You are taking a live look at Uptown.
WCCB Charlotte meteorologist Tyler Ryan is here with the first look at your forecast. Hi, Tyler.
Well, guys, we've been in a bit of a rainy period. We've had some nice rain, but we still are pretty dry. Take a look at the drought numbers. They come out on Thursday, so they came out just a couple of days ago. This was May 3rd. We're in that extreme area, not quite exceptional. We're getting a little better as of, today. The numbers came out on Thursday, but as of this afternoon, this evening, into the overnight, we're doing a lot better. We're still very dry, and unfortunately, if you look, the southeast, the entire region is pretty much in a drought. That hasn't changed just yet. Like I said, it is getting better. Yesterday, we do the 24-hour period. So here's yesterday. Got about an inch of rain. That certainly helps a lot. 84 the high. Nowhere near that record. 1898, by the way. 1898 is when that record was set. Oh, my goodness. That was a hot minute ago, as the kids say, right? So as of right now, we're sitting okay. We are going to see the influx of some showers coming in on the overnight and then into the hours in the morning anyway of tomorrow. I think we end okay, and then things largely improve. We are going to cool down just a little bit as well. So, here's our bigger sat rad. We're looking pretty good here. As far as pollen, man, I'm telling you, as far as pollen, I still have issues. My voice has been going in and out. It's crazy. Grass and weeds are okay, trees, but mold is where the issue is with that pollen count. All right, so for tonight, we're talking about 65 degrees on the overnight tonight. It should be okay. Clouds will continue to move in, and tomorrow morning, a bit on the misty side. We'll have some drizzle, and then things end not so bad. Yeah, there's your forecast kicking off. Can you believe tomorrow is June 1st? Yeah, kicking off June.
Should Uptown Charlotte install noise cameras? Tomorrow, City Council Safety Committee will discuss concerns about noise in Center City. Earlier this month, residents and business owners told me drivers with illegal mufflers in Uptown are making the city sound like a war zone. Neighbors are now asking City Council to use noise camera technology to crack down on violators to make the city safer.
You're not going to be able to hear any conversations or anything that would be identifying individual people, but it will hear car engines and illegally modified mufflers, and then it will automatically mail them a citation.
Residents say now is the time to take action because the noise cameras would be linked to the red light camera system Charlotte leaders are already considering.
Well, an historic place in Charlotte is getting new life. A developer is tearing down the Excelsior Club on Beatties Ford Road.
Sean Kennedy talked to more than 250 community members and came up with a plan to rebuild and modernize the Excelsior Club.
If the walls of the Excelsior Club could talk, they'd tell quite the story.
I saw that as a place for camaraderie, for like minds. That's where decisions could be made for the community. You had the political figures there, you had the movers and the shakers there.
Now a new author is writing the next chapter. Dozens of people showed up Thursday to celebrate the past and vision for the future. Developer Sean Kennedy plans to tear down the existing building and recreate it with a modern twist.
It is the most important to honor the legacy and the history of the Excelsior. But the building we're going to do is actually make it sustainable for the future.
Plans for the club show a rooftop terrace with an Art Deco feel. It will be a museum, meeting place, and restaurant all in one.
Believe it or not, on the West End corridor and on Beattiesford Road, there's nowhere after 5 p.m. you can even sit down and have dinner. So we're going to add that element to Beattiesford Road.
This is an $8.3 million project. The city and county invested $1.5 million each. Kennedy says he and his partners raised the rest.
When the city and the county got involved, that showed the business community and the philanthropy community that this project could be done.
After seeing the building empty and falling apart for more than a decade, many community members say they're ready to see its new life.
So I'm really excited to see what Excelsior is going to do with regard to keeping true to the roots of the community.
The developer is applying for a demolition permit, and the goal is to have the building knocked down before the end of the summer and to open the new Excelsior Club by early 2028.
Well, police have identified a homicide victim whose body was found just outside of Uptown Charlotte just over a week ago. Investigators found 44-year-old James Rodriguez dead around 6:45 p.m. on May 22nd on North Poplar Street near West 12th Street. Now, police originally considered this a death investigation before autopsy results led them to change Rodriguez's manner of death. No suspects have been named. Well, President Trump is asking Iran to accept a number of changes to a proposed peace deal. Trump sent the latest agreement with changes back to Iran after meeting with advisors on Friday. Officials say the move extends talks into another week. Now, Trump wants stronger terms on Iran's nuclear commitments. He also wants Iran to pledge to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Well, the director of the World Health Organization traveled to the epicenter of the Ebola outbreak this weekend. He urged infected people to seek care early.
There are concerns growing of the virus spreading. As WCCB Charlotte's Jen Sullivan reports, all this comes ahead of the World Cup games where millions of people are expected to travel to the U.S.
The Director General of the World Health Organization traveling to the epicenter of the Ebola outbreak Saturday, where despair and desperation are prevalent in the Democratic Republic of Congo as the deadly virus rapidly spreads. At least 238 people are believed to have died, and there are more than 1,000 suspected infections since the outbreak was first declared May 15th. WHO has said the outbreak in DRC and Uganda is a public emergency of international concern. Multiple agencies across the globe, including the Red Cross, have traveled to Western Africa to help.
Without health workers, it will be very difficult then to help patients.
This particular strand of Ebola is extremely rare, and there's no approved vaccines or treatments.
Are you worried that this could spread to the level that we saw in 2014?
It depends on how we respond.
As a precaution, the U.S. has banned non-U.S. citizens who have recently traveled from Congo, Uganda, or South Sudan from entering the U.S. for 21 days.
We cannot and will not allow any cases of Ebola to enter the United States.
With less than 2 weeks until the first World Cup game in Los Angeles, there's growing concern about containing the spread of Ebola. Flights carrying passengers from affected African regions will land at specific airports in New York, Virginia, Atlanta, and Houston to undergo health screenings. The U.S. State Department estimates 5 to 7 million people will travel to the U.S. for the World Cup matches.
Jen Sullivan, WCCB News.
A road rage incident leads to a huge fire at a South Carolina gas station.
Yeah, we'll hear from a woman who survived despite suffering severe burns.
And later, declassified UFO documents reveal a small town sighting last year. What residents have to say about possible aliens ahead at 10:30.
The fresh beef that makes Whataburger so special, the honey butter.
Well, a South Carolina woman is sharing her story after surviving a gas station fire. This happened on May 17th in Columbia.
Olivia Finch says she was pumping gas when she heard tires screeching loudly. She remembers seeing a car barrel towards her before it slammed into the pump she was using. Finch was pinned between the car and the pump, and her clothes caught on fire. She suffered severe burns to her hands, legs, and feet.
Since I've been driving, I've always watched my surroundings while I'm at a gas station. Before I was about to get back in my car, I heard a loud tire screech. I thought I was gonna die. I thought that was it for me.
Wow, very, very scary times. Finch has now been released from the hospital. Investigators say a woman was driving and avoiding police after a road rage incident and ended up crashing at that gas station. No arrests have been announced at this time, but the investigation is ongoing. Incredible video captures the moment the final 4 villagers were rescued from a flooded cave in Laos. 7 villagers had initially entered the cave, but only 5 were found alive after 10 days.
Well, 1 was rescued Friday, and the 4 remaining were rescued yesterday. WCCB Charlotte's Jen Sullivan has details on that dramatic rescue and how those men are doing.
Cheers and cries heard as the remaining 4 men trapped inside a cave in Laos for more than a week are finally free. This video capturing their emotional reunion, families tearfully embracing. The 4 remaining men were able to crawl out on their own on Saturday after rescue crews successfully pumped out water inside the cave. Originally, divers from an international rescue team planned to rescue them in high waters, which they say would have been dangerous for everyone involved.
It was the best outcome.
Exhausted after spending 10 days in dark, damp conditions, the men were taken to a camp to undergo medical care. You can see them wrapped in foil on stretchers.
The adrenaline, they run for their life, and once they arrive to the camp, they just vanish.
You can see one of the villagers being placed in an ambulance. Some of the men developed skin and intestinal problems. The 5 villagers were illegally mining for gold May 20th when torrential rain caused flash flooding, sealing their exit more than 850 feet away. Rescuers finally discovered them a week later. Friday, one of the trapped men was able to be rescued, telling people he was grateful to be out. There are still 2 other villagers not connected to this group that are believed to still be trapped inside. As of Saturday afternoon, rescue crews were still searching for them.
Jen Sullivan, WCCB News.
So we've had some pretty warm temperatures, right? See that pollen? There's my voice. It's going. But we had some pretty nice temperatures. I mean, we're in the 80s here in the south, 90 out in Jackson, Texas, of course, as you might expect. Not even 90s, though, in Florida, surprisingly. As far as what happened back here at home, of course, we did okay. 86 in Chester, 84 here in town, and the upcountry, the high country, a little bit better. So here's where we are, and so we look at where we're going, right? Meteorology does that. And so we took a dip, and we've had some pretty nice warm temperatures over the last few. We're going to be about average. Rolling into June, the first couple of days, of course, June 1st is tomorrow, so we'll start there. It makes sense, right? You start in June. So here's the future gusts. It is going to be a bit on the breezy side, pretty much across the entire region, down into Rock Hill, here in town, and even getting up into the mountains. We're a very consistent setup. You see 10, 15 mile an hour gusts, and these aren't the knots, these are the mile an hour. But we're doing okay. Now, it does tend to pick up. We get into tomorrow morning, or Tuesday morning rather, and that's going to be a little bit of a different story. It gets a little breezy rolling into Tuesday, Wednesday. We also have a pattern shift. So we've got some cooler air that rolls in for the next couple of days. As we get into midweek, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, absolute bright sunshine. And so that's what signals that is those higher wind gust potentials. Here's Tuesday, and that's pretty much going to roll that in. And so we're looking pretty good, right? A little on the gusty side. Overall, not so bad. Here's how it stands weather-wise. So here's midnight, just not too far away anyway. You see a little bit of that moisture down towards our southwest. We'll continue to track that. I think we get a few scattered showers. You're looking down, if you're heading down 77 into Columbia, down over towards the beach area, Myrtle Beach. Yeah, I think we get a little bit of that wet stuff rolling into the overnight tomorrow and into Tuesday morning. And then things start quieting down. Here's Tuesday afternoon for us, and then sunshine. We get back to it. So we've had a couple of cool days. We get back to it, and we're looking good. Here's Wednesday into Thursday, a lot of sun. So we've had some rain, which is great. It's going to help our gardens grow. Is it Mary, Mary, quite contrary? No, that might have been like an 80s rap band. Either way, we get some sun and some rain, and that's going to make the garden grow pretty well, is what I think. Moisture meter, this is where we are. So this is what we're drawing this from and how this sets up for us. Here's tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, there's some moisture in their mix, but then you start seeing it largely drying out as we get into Tuesday and into Wednesday, and that's what we just saw. So this just verifies, shows you the moisture. There's just not a lot of moisture to deal with, so we'll have a pretty nice setup. We talked a few minutes ago about the drought meter, and this is the concern. We're in a lot better shape than we were, that's for sure. As of Thursday, this is for tonight, but the numbers come out on Thursday, so this is Thursday's data. We're looking all right. It's much better than we were. It's still pretty dry, but overall we're looking good, and we really are in a world of hurt. We're not as bad as we were. Oh my gosh! All right, so June 1st, hurricane season. It's here. We're looking like it may be a bit of a quieter one. It's just a little bit quieter. We do have an El Nino that's coming into play, and that could actually change things for us. What that does is it creates wind shear. Wind shear is the enemy of hurricanes. So there's not favorable when you have wind shear. If there's an El Nino, you're going to have wind shear. That's how that's going to set up. All right, here are the names, by the way. The first one will be Arthur. We're going to have some name storms. I'm certain about that. But there they go, so as we kick off hurricane season 2026. If you're traveling around, everybody graduated. We should be in good shape. We're looking pretty good. A little bit of rain. Monday, Tuesday, things look to be a little bit better. If you're heading up to the mountains, same thing. A little bit of rain in play Tuesday. Not so much. It dries out, and I think we're in pretty good shape. As far as tomorrow goes, yeah, we'll have a few scattered showers. Otherwise, a pretty comfortable temperature here in the Queen City anyway. And your 7-day looks like this. Here we go, a little bit of rain potential, and then things are looking good as we get into late week. Temperatures get pretty comfortable. There's your forecast.
All right, Tyler, thank you. Well, a North Carolina teen's Eagle Scout project is turned down. Why his family says the rejection felt like a slap in the face. That's coming up next.
I've been doing this for a long time.
Charlotte's. Well, a North Carolina family says their son's proposed Eagle Scout project was rejected by Battleship North Carolina, leaving them confused and frustrated.
As Delaney Tarpley reports, Harrison Hennessy and his family wanted to install a new flagpole, but they were turned down.
Harrison Hennessy has been dreaming about his Eagle Scout project for years now.
I started Boy Scouts in 2nd grade as a wolf. I'm now a Life Scout here at Troop 19.
He and his family thought they came up with the perfect idea for his project, a new flagpole at the Battleship North Carolina.
And we wanted to do a very patriotic Eagle Scout project because it is America's 250th anniversary.
He and his dad, Kevin, worked on the renderings. They wanted to put a flagpole in this spot. They sent their design to the Battleship's executive director. But Jay Martin said they already have several flags flying on the property, and the project, quote, is not right for us. He instead offered to let them paint this sign and gazebo.
Those are service projects. Eagle Scout is different. There's a whole board we have to go by, and those would not have passed.
Kevin said he tried to explain this, but received this response. Quote, Kevin, at this point, it's time for you to look at another venue, end quote.
I just felt that was kind of a slap in the face, and it shouldn't we should have had a little more respect for what we wanted to do.
They sent one more email with a new rendering of another proposed flagpole at the entrance. This time, he says they never got a response.
The last email we sent, they never replied to us, which got me a little down.
We reached out to Martin ourselves. He told us in part, quote, "We appreciated the interest in an Eagle Scout project benefiting Battleship North Carolina Memorial. The project idea that staff offered to his son was not acceptable to Mr. Hennessy. The alternate project offered by Mr. Hennessy was not consistent with the needs of the battleship. There are multiple state statutes and processes that would be required for the type of project Mr. Hennessy proposed, including likely review by the Battleship Commission. The primary issue was that it did not align with the current needs," end quote. Kevin said he wasn't told about the lengthy permit process, but says that hasn't deterred him, even if it means cutting through the red tape.
We're fighting for what we believe in because Eagle Scouts get it done.
And Harrison, he said he's not giving up on his dream project.
We're not going to give up. We're going to keep going.
All right, Delaney Tarpley reporting. Well, we are still months away from football season, but we will show you what Bryce Young has been up to at his kids' camp. Hear from the Panthers QB up next.
Bryce Young is giving back to the community this weekend. The Panthers QB holding his third annual Young 9 Foundation Camp at the Harris YMCA on Saturday.
Well, Mother Nature had other plans, with the camp having to move indoors for part of the day. Young says it's great to make connections with young Panthers fans.
There's so much going on. It's so easy to be inside on a phone or playing a game, and watching kids still want to go out there and play, still want to have a conversation, still want to talk about whatever's going on at school. I really appreciate that.
Looks like he had a good time. Well, the camp focuses not only on football skills, but also shines a spotlight on mental health.
Declassified UFO documents reveal a strange sighting in a small town last year.
What residents have to say about possible aliens, that's next at 10:30. Well, yes, indeed. It is another Sunday night in the Queen City, and weather-wise, finally some relief from that humidity to end our weekend. This is one last live look at Uptown.
Yes, the last day of the month of May.
That's
we
right.
are moving on to June. WCCB Charlotte meteorologist Tyler Ryan is here with a final look at your weekend forecast.
Well, guys, we've been a bit of a rainy period. We've had some nice rain, but we still are pretty dry. Take a look at the drought numbers. They come out on Thursday, so they came out just a couple of days ago. This was May 3rd. We're in that extreme area, not quite exceptional. We're getting a little better as of, today. The numbers came out on Thursday, but as of this afternoon, this evening, into the overnight, we're doing a lot better. We're still very dry, and unfortunately, if you look, the southeast, the entire region is pretty much in a drought. That hasn't changed just yet. Like I said, it is getting better. Yesterday, we do the 24-hour period, so here's yesterday. Got about an inch of rain. That certainly helps a lot. 84 the high. Nowhere near that record. 1898, by the way. 1898 is when that record was set. Oh my goodness, that was a hot minute ago, as the kids say, right? So as of right now, we're sitting okay. We are going to see the influx of some showers coming in on the overnight, and then into the hours in the morning anyway of tomorrow. I think we end okay, and then things largely improve. We are going to cool down just a little bit as well. So here's our bigger sat rad. We're looking pretty good here. As far as pollen, man, I'm telling you, as far as pollen, I still have issues. My voice has been going in and out. It's crazy. Grass and weeds are okay. Trees, but mold is where the issue is with that pollen count. All right, so for tonight, we're talking about 65 degrees on the overnight tonight. It should be okay. Clouds will continue to move in. And tomorrow morning, a bit on the misty side. We'll have some drizzle. And then things end not so bad. Yeah, there's your forecast kicking off. Can you believe tomorrow is June 1st? Yeah, kicking off June.
Kicking off June indeed. Thank you, Tyler.
Lake Lure and Bat Cave were hit hard by Helene, and last week experienced their heaviest rain since the storm hit 20 months ago.
Well, as Taylor Thompson reports, emergency service officials say several protective measures have been put in place since Helene.
Lake fared very well for the amount of water that was coming in. We were able to maintain those lake levels and keep all systems within normal range.
Dustin Waycaster says they put in several protective measures since Helene and have managed to put their warning siren weather alert system back online.
We actually had to utilize it the other night during the heavy rainfall on the western end of the county.
He knows the fear those sirens bring to residents because he has his own fears too.
It wasn't really the sirens going off or anything like that. It was just seeing the amount of water and the debris that was, flowing into our lake right after we just got finished opening up.
What do we want to do today? We want a tube, I know that.
The lake opened Memorial Day weekend, 20 months since Helene. Mark Helms just got back on the water.
I didn't think I had any PTSD from Helene, but for sure, my wife and I have a little creek in the backyard, and I came home that night, and I always just look out there as a barometer. I'll bring skis, and I'll bring wakeboards. What size shoes you wear?
Helms and his wife run Lake Lure Adventure Company. Seeing his creek rise brought back a lot of emotion.
For sure, there was a fear of, oh Lord, what's going to be in the lake tomorrow morning, or are the roads going to be okay?
That panic stretched over into Bat Cave.
We went from drought and fighting wildfires to flooding.
Steve Freeman says response is unfortunately second nature now.
You just got to go with it. We were more concerned with anybody in danger, so we started rushing around before we even got the first call. Start making people aware. That's the main thing with it all. That's what saves lives.
Both communities are thankful no one was hurt while cleanup continues.
Nobody that was here during Helene will forget it anytime soon.
And that is Taylor Thompson reporting. While declassified UFO documents include a rather colorful sighting in suburban Minneapolis last year.
The video was shot by police, but residents have their own explanations for what it might be. Connor White has the story.
When you look at this, what do you see?
Flashing light.
Like a meteor?
A disco light.
A disco light? I like that. All right. All fine answers, but we came to Anoka technically asking a trick question. No one knows what it is.
Nobody knows what
Exactly. According to the FBI, this is what's called an unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAP, spotted over Minnesota. In years gone by, you might have called it a UFO.
Doesn't matter to me one way or the other. I don't know if I believe in it or not.
Whatever it is, it caught the attention of Anoka police. According to federal documents, officers were debriefing in a Domino's Pizza parking lot just after 1 a.m. in February of 2025. That's when one of them spotted the multicolored object, hovering in the sky an estimated 50 miles away. They moved to a parking ramp nearby to get a better view, noting it was a clear night with great visibility. The object was about the size of a school bus. It changed its location in 3 quick bursts. When it descended, it moved like a floating leaf. Documents show they watched the object for an hour and a half, capturing this video with an iPhone through binoculars.
There are a large number of objects that are unattributed that are exhibiting capabilities beyond what we understand to be the state of the art.
Ryan Graves is the founder of Americans for Safe Aerospace. He says the Anoka officers first contacted them, an organization dedicated to raising the profile of so-called UAPs and reviewing possible national security threats. He says it's notable that police officers were the chief witnesses here.
It makes it both the witness is highly credible and the case is very hard to explain.
It's unclear if the feds are still looking into this case, even if the kids have their own conclusions.
There's some weird helicopter having a disco party up there.
Perfect.
There you go. That's Carter White reporting. While some students are growing their own lunch at school.
And frightening moments for people stuck backwards on a roller coaster. We'll discuss it all and more coming up in What's Trending.
Electricians you can count.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is Sunday night.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed. Time to take a look at what's trending this weekend. All right, well, not all learning takes place in a classroom. There is a program in Maui that aims to bring healthier food options to students. Some students at Hana High School grow their own school lunch through the Crops on Campus program. Now, apparently this program has been around for 10 years, but it was just recently certified so it can be served to students at the school for lunch. Now, if you've ever taken the road to Hana, you know this is a rural town, reachable only by a road riddled with curves and 1-lane bridges. I've taken that road. It is very, very frightening, and that town is way out there. So Casey, would you eat food grown by your co-workers out in the satellite field here at WCCB?
Absolutely. I think we have the space and opportunity for it. We need a garden here.
Now, I don't know that our soil is quite as rich as Hawaii, but you know what would we grow? Like okra, beans, corn? I don't know if we can grow corn.
All of it. Maybe some collard greens.
We could definitely do that. There you go. I like it. And then we don't have to worry about, going out to lunch and eating unhealthy fast food.
You know this is right up my alley.
I'm putting you in charge of that project.
I love that. Well, 8 people in Texas just had a roller coaster ride of a lifetime, and chances are none of them have any interest in repeating that experience. A mysterious glitch left 8 riders hanging backwards near the top of the Iron Shark roller coaster for several hours Thursday night in Galveston, Texas. The Iron Shark is one of the tallest rides at Pleasure Pier Park, and the fire department had just enough reach. The riders were individually placed in safety harnesses and brought down with no reports of any significant injuries, at least not physical ones, right?
Yes.
So Marvin, would you still go for a ride after that?
I feel like I am finally justified in not wanting to ride roller coasters and staying as far away from them as possible. What do you think, Casey?
You are probably right. I think that would keep me away from roller coasters for a while.
Backwards, and they said it was pretty hot. Oh my gosh.
Oh man, they were closer to
terrifying.
the sun.
Closer to the sun. Oh my gosh. Yes, I'll stick to like the easy rides. All right. Finally tonight, a study from the UK, Casey, has found that working weekends is linked to higher rates of depression. Over 25,000 men and women were part of the study. Researchers say weekend work led to more work-family conflicts stemming from missing standard days off, and the study found an equal division of domestic responsibilities and childcare placed an additional burden on women who work weekends. So Casey, what do you say we quit weekends and just go Monday through Friday?
Well, that sounds like a plan that's already happening, actually.
All right, if you missed us at 6, you don't know that this is our last weekend at WCCB Charlotte. This is the last weekend newscast. We're going to talk more about it at the end of the show. We're sad to be leaving you. We're sad to go, but we are.
Yes, we are happy to maybe reduce our chances of depression by having our weekends back. That's for sure.
That worked out just right. All right, so we've got just about, 10, 15 more minutes here to go.
Lock in.
We'll enjoy the last few minutes. We're going to come back and talk to you more about it here in a bit. But first, let's check in with Jamie to see what's coming up on What the Tech.
Have you ever felt that you've reached the end of the internet? You've visited all the sites you normally visit? I'm Jamie Tucker, coming up with some very fun but weird websites you've never gone to.
With a million bullets.
Well, have you ever scrolled through the internet at the places you usually visit and think, well, what do I look at now?
Instead of wasting time scrolling through Instagram, TikTok, or random YouTube channels, you could spend that time having a little more fun. Consumer technology reporter Jamie Tucker is rounding up some websites you didn't know you want to see.
Yeah, I guess we've all hit that moment when we've checked all the websites we normally check and we feel, I've hit the end of the internet. Well, of course, not even close. Tucked away are some pretty weird websites that make the internet fun again. Take Radio Garden, one of my favorite sites for music. This nonprofit streams live radio stations from around the world. Every green dot is a station somewhere on Earth. Spin the globe, tap a city, and suddenly you're listening to a DJ in Brazil, or reggae from Jamaica, or pop music from Japan. There's an app, too. For fun, there's GeoGuessr. This website drops you in a random spot using Google Street View. Your challenge is figuring out where you are using clues like street signs, road markings, landscapes. You score points by getting close to the location. There's also thispersondoesnotexist.com. Every time you refresh the page, it creates an AI photo of a fake person. People look real, but they do not exist. It's one of the best demonstrations of just how realistic AI-generated images have become. And if you have a lot of free time on your hands, there's Neil.fun. It's filled with bizarre internet experiences and games. One lets you spend Bill Gates' fortune to understand just how rich he really is. Another shows how enormous a sheet of paper could become if you keep folding it. There's the draw a perfect circle game, and one that plops you in front of something weird captured by Street View cameras. It's surprising how much fun these websites are, but they are addictive. Don't say I didn't warn you. That's What the Tech. I'm Jamie Tucker.
Jamie's really bored, isn't he?
I'm interested in spending Bill Gates' money. That kind of sounds like a fun game, but that was the only thing that
interested you?
In, yeah.
All right, we're going to wrap things up for WCCB Weekend News right after this.
Stay with us.
What the Tech is brought to you.
Well, check this out. Sonic boom startled the Northeast on Saturday. According to the American Meteor Society, the noise was caused by a 3-foot-wide meteor entering the atmosphere with the New Hampshire border with Massachusetts. You could tell people were reacting to that.
Right. A few people reported seeing a brief fireball in the sky. There are no reports of anything striking the ground, but experts say likely any debris probably landed in the ocean.
Oh, that is very, very frightening. All right. Before we go tonight, we want to tell you once again that this is our final broadcast of WCCB News. And before we go, Casey, we want to thank our loyal viewers for joining us every weekend at 6 and 10.
And we also want to thank our last weekend crew. Here's a picture. You see most of us here, meteorologist Gerald Mingle, Marvin, our director Keith, audio engineer Lance, and me, Casey. Also our editor Logan, Jack Taylor with sports, and a special thanks to tonight's director, Chris Lee. Not pictured.
Not pictured, but thanks for being here tonight, Chris. Folks, we are certainly going to miss seeing you every weekend here on WCCB. It has been a privilege to come into your homes every weekend, and one we do not take lightly. We appreciate the support, and we hear from our viewers all the time, and we really appreciate you.
Yes, thanks for watching. And thank you, Marvin. Marvin's my first co-anchor, so I'll remember you forever. And we're not going too far. We are still going to be on Monday through Friday in a different capacity. So whether you see us here or Monday through Friday, we're here working for you.
So we hope you'll give them a chance during the week, just like you gave us.
So.
All right, that's all the time we have for WCCB News.
Good night and goodbye, everyone.
So
we have cupcakes.
Weekend cupcakes.
Party time.
It is the after party. Woo, woo. Good night, everybody. So long.